Hi home cooks! Today I'm in the kitchen making old-fashioned homemade strawberry ripple ice cream.
Honestly, guys, if you're gonna try making ice cream this summer, you've got to try this recipe. I made this one with a custard base, so it's super rich and creamy. And with our farm fresh strawberries, we made an easy strawberry sauce that we sweetened with honey. This is the perfect treat for summer.
Nothing says summer quite like a scoop of homemade ice cream. This one's made with a rich, creamy vanilla and swirls of sweet homemade strawberry sauce. This one's made without an ice cream maker, and you can feel good about serving this ice cream because it's made with simple, wholesome ingredients and it's sweetened with honey instead of processed sugar.
So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make homemade strawberry ripple ice cream.
I'm going to start this recipe with the strawberry sauce. You can make this with either fresh or frozen berries. We're just getting back from strawberry picking, so I'm going to be using fresh strawberries for mine. The first thing I need to do is wash, hull, and cut in half 2 cups of strawberries. And if you're using local fresh strawberries like we are here, you'll notice that they're usually a lot smaller, and there'll be a juicy rosy pink color all the way through to the center. I'm going to add the cut strawberries to a sauce pot on medium-low heat. And I'm just using a masher here as my strawberries are cooking to help break up the berries and release their juices. I'm going to add in 1/3 cup of honey. I'm also going to stir in a teaspoon of lemon juice. This complements the flavor of the strawberries, adds the perfect pop of brightness, and also will help thicken the sauce. It's going to help activate the fruit's natural pectin and improve its ability to set. Continue to cook, stirring occasionally until the strawberries have thickened enough to coat the back of a wooden spoon. This took me about 30 minutes, but it'll depend on the moisture level of your fruit. Then I'm going to set it aside and allow it to cool while I get on with making the ice cream. I'm going to be making a homemade vanilla ice cream for the base of this recipe. I'm using a large, heavy-based and thick-walled pot to make the ice cream. I want it to cook gently and evenly, which is going to give me a better chance of not scalding the milk and making it easy to not curdle any eggs as we make the vanilla custard. To the pot, add in 1.5 cups of 18% cream with 1/3 cup of honey and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. You could also use maple syrup in place of honey for another natural sweetener, but you can also make this ice cream with plain white sugar as well. Stir this until everything is dissolved together. It should be hot enough that you see it starting to steam, but not simmering. Meanwhile, I'm going to separate out 4 egg yolks. Whisk them until they're smooth and creamy. Then with the hot cream, we're going to temper the eggs. While whisking the eggs constantly, slowly pour about half of the hot cream mixture into the eggs. This is going to slowly increase their heat. And now, while whisking, pour the hot egg mixture back into the pot with the hot cream. And since the eggs are already hot when they're going into the hot cream mixture, the temperature change won't shock them and they won't turn into little scrambled eggs inside of your ice cream. Now I'm going to stir this mixture over medium heat until it starts to thicken. And this step will take several minutes. As the eggs cook, they're going to start to thicken the custard. Keep stirring until it's thick enough to coat the back of a wooden spoon. If you wanted to be extra sure and measure it, the temperature of the custard should reach about 170 degrees Fahrenheit. After the custard is thickened, I'm going to stir in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to remove it from the heat and allow it to cool to room temperature. Then I'm going to cover it and let it chill in the fridge. Once this vanilla custard is cold, I'm going to whip 2 cups of 35% cream until it's thick and holds a stiff peak. I'm doing this in my stand mixer with the whisk attachment, but you could also do this with electric beaters or even a hand whisk. Make sure to stop and scrape down the bottom and sides of the bowl a few times as you go to make sure all the cream is getting whipped evenly. And I have my vanilla custard that we made earlier, and as you can see, now that it's chilled in the fridge, it has thickened up quite a bit more. Add this to the bowl with the whipped cream, and then gently fold them together. I'm just using my stand mixer again on the lowest setting. Now everything is mixed together and it's super light and creamy. Now if you do have an ice cream maker, you can add this to your ice cream machine and churn it into ice cream. If not, no problem. I'm going to do my ice cream without any special equipment. Place the vanilla ice cream mixture into a freezer-safe container. Then it's going to go in the freezer to chill for 45 minutes. After the 45 minutes are up, I'm going to take it out of the freezer and just whip it really vigorously with a fork or a spoon. And that's just going to mix in any of the frozen bits from the sides and bottom of the container. And then I'm going to place it right back into the freezer for another 45 minutes. I'm just going to keep doing this in about 45-minute intervals, about 3 to 4 times, or until it's mostly frozen. Then the last time, just before I put it back into the freezer, I'm going to add in that strawberry sauce that we made at the beginning that has now cooled. I'm just going to put it in dollops all over the top of the ice cream. Then using either a spoon or a fork, I'm just going to swirl it back and forth and all the way through the ice cream. I'm not really fully mixing it in, just dragging it through and spreading it out so it's evenly distributed. That way you can still see the ribbons of fresh strawberry sauce in every scoop of ice cream. And now it's ready to get popped back into the freezer, and this time I'm going to freeze it until it's completely set, which should take about 3 hours. And once it's set, it's of course ready to scoop and serve right away. And I love seeing all those lines of strawberry sauce as you scoop up each serving. And this is perfect served just as it is, in a bowl or in a cone. You can make a sundae and add in even more strawberry sauce on top, cut them up and add in some fresh strawberries, or you could even shave on some chocolate curls to garnish the top of each sundae. I think this old-fashioned ice cream recipe is the perfect way to celebrate strawberry season. And you can feel a little better about serving this recipe. It's made with only simple, wholesome ingredients and sweetened with honey instead of refined sugar.
And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below.
Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks so much for stopping by.